Right, I'm going to talk to you about resource guarding. Now, it is quite a big topic, so I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but there's lots involved, and it's a very complex subject, and there's lots of lots of things going on with it. So we'll get into it then. If you hear a noise in the background, it is Rose chewing a chew. So, with resource guarding, a dog can do resource guarding with food, toys, and sometimes a person. Now, it can be towards a person, mostly the owner. So, what I mean by that is like growling at their owner because they want the food, for example. So really they're just displaying this unwanted behavior, and all they're saying is, that's mine. So that's what they're doing, that's mine. It's usually a resource that they find valuable. Yeah, it can be quite, like I said, very complex. So this is why I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So I have lots of experience on this subject, and obviously being a Spaniel trainer, it is very, very common in Spaniels. Now, my eldest dog, Finn, has got a resource guarding problem. Now, it can even stem from when they're at the breeders, when they're puppies. So usually, like, the breeder has like a massive bowl of food, and they're obviously diving in, getting all the food. And even from that moment, they learn to basically resource guard, because they are literally just, right, that's mine, I want that, you can't have it. So this is why it's really important for breeders to have different foods, so they're not in that frame of mind to resource guard. So it can even stem from them. So usually, sometimes when they're picking up when owners are picking up their puppy at 8 weeks old, they've got it. They've got a puppy that has displayed this type of behaviour already. Sometimes it's genetic as well. So like I said, Spaniels are very prone, especially Springer Spaniels, which we'll get into in a minute. So like I said, it can go from toys, food, and on a person. So with Finn, it's very much he finds food really, really valuable. So that he will resource guard food when he's amongst other dogs. He's never done that with me. So we manage the situation, so he has his food on his own, he has chews on his own. So obviously we're a multi-dog household, but we have worked so hard on it that he can now eat his food with Rose in the morning. I just allow it to happen then, but it's very controlled. They have individual bowls, obviously, and I keep it away, and it's very, very controlled. And I'm going to keep it like that until I feel like it's not suitable for both dogs. But that's how far we've come. But we have done a lot of work, and obviously when I got Rose, I knew that it was going to be a bit of an issue. So there's always management in place there. So the ways that you can kind of stop the resource guarding. So what I would say, so when I got Rose, I was very much, I was very careful what I was taking off her. So if she had something of value, so say like a sock, for example, puppies pick up all these different things. So she picked up a sock, I wouldn't just take it out of her, because if I kept doing that, she would then, she could, and I've seen it in others when I've been working with cases, is if you take stuff away and then they get really, they will growl or display some kind of unwanted behaviour because you're trying to take things away. So I tried not to do that with her. So what I would do was, say for example, she had, she's stolen, what Spaniels do, stole a pair of my socks, for example. So what I would do was I would swap it with like an old pair of socks, or I would give her a food. So she's a bit odd, she loves celery. So I would swap it with something that she finds valuable. So again, so I love pizza. And so if I had a nice pizza there and then I was just about to eat it and you take it off me, I'm going to be quite annoyed about that. Now, if it keeps happening, I'm going to start reacting, and then I've got my pizza, then I'm going to start kind of resource guarding it, because I don't want you getting my pizza. And that is all that the dog is doing. So we want to not put them in a situation when they're going to need to do that. So it's really important that you're not, I know some people sort of say, like to stop resource guarding, then, when you're giving your dog a bowl of food, as it's eating, take bits away. Again, going back to my pizza idea, that is not a good idea. You are creating a resource guarding problem. So there's two ways of kind of dealing with that. You can either get the food and then put it in the bowl, but my personal favourite is just that when you put the food down, just let them eat. You don't need to interfere, you don't need to do anything, just let them eat. If you have got a multi-dog household, then it might be good for them just to eat in separate rooms or whatever. So we're preventing this sort of problem. So hopefully that makes it, hopefully I've tried to make it as simple as possible, because like I said, there's lots involved, and it's a very complex thing. So if you are experiencing resource guarding problems with your dog, then do seek professional help of a dog trainer or a behaviourist. I'm quite happy if you send me a message. I can try and point you in the right direction or help, but it is very much like I can't give, unless I've seen and got all the information, I can't really give you, because it's such a personal kind of thing. So I need to have lots of information before I can actually give you an action plan, which is what I do for my clients. I go to see them and then get an action plan specifically for them, for their dog, because it's very much a complex thing. Right, any questions you can message me, and yeah, and if you do have a problem and you're like local to me, I would be happy to help you. So bye.